morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I have a new topic to talk about today, and that is the topic about the meaning that we give words. And why I'm talking about this is because it came up in session with a client, but also it came up in realization. This is when things click for us. In realization that all of the words that we use have meaning, all of the words, and they have different frequencies. So if you're talking about a word that is joyous or happy or loving, then the frequency of that word is higher than a word that describes something that we give the meaning to, something as being sad or angry or jealousy. So every word has a frequency, and the frequency has the meaning that we give it. Okay, so when we are speaking out words of in affirmations or in visualization, when you're wanting to create what you want, and you're using words in between that are lower frequency, like using the word no, for example. Remember I told you I'm giving up on the word no. I'm no longer using it. There I am using it like 3 times in just this few little sentences. Each time that we invoke that word, then we're bringing our energy back down or to a lower frequency. And the lower frequencies are really resonant with our bodies, because our bodies are in the 3D world, and they're dense and they're heavier, and they have all of the feels, and they work with gravity, right? Like we're being pulled down, as opposed to 5D when we are in the dream world or in the creation world or in the part of feeling better than when we usually feel in the 3D body. Does that make sense? Let me know how that's going, falling or feeling for you. And also let me know if you're here so that I can say hi to you. I might be pulling cards today too. I do have my deck here. I have the Work Your Light deck with me. It was speaking, so I might be doing that as well. Let me know. And I'm just opening up my cell phone here just to make sure that I see you, because you guys know it doesn't show me on my laptop. All right, so more on the words that we give things, right? Now, you guys know I'm bilingual. I speak Spanish. I also speak Italian and light language. And the words have the meaning that we give it. And it is in the meaning that we give to that word that the word becomes a higher frequency or a lower frequency. When we say a word that is judgmental or criticizing someone or something else, including ourselves, we know what we're saying, and therefore we are giving that word a lower frequency, because it's not making us or anyone else feel better when we use those words to describe or to talk about. But let's say I didn't speak the language that you're saying the words in, or that you didn't speak the language that I'm saying the words. It wouldn't mean anything to you. You would just feel the frequency of what I'm saying based on me matching my frequency to the meaning that I want to invoke by saying those words, and therefore aligning myself, my energy, to what I'm giving the word. And then the other person, even if they don't understand the language I'm speaking, will feel that frequency, and they will feel either elevated or being pulled down if they're allowing themselves to be in that space like that, because they're feeling my energy. Now, if you have a word, let's say the word jealousy, which doesn't really have that much positive to it as the meaning, and we give it a different meaning, right? So instead of saying, okay, the word jealousy, it actually means, I don't know, what's coming up is resilience, right? Like something that allows you to do more and continue getting going. And if you change the meaning of it, and then you believe that that's the meaning of it, when you use that word, you're going to be aligning to what you believe You just gave that word that meaning, and then your frequency will be higher. Does that make sense? Okay. So what I'm trying to say here, I know it's like all coming from all different areas, is that when we hear a word or use a word that we know the meaning of, let's say it's a low frequency word like, jealousy, and we're using it to speak ill of someone or ourselves, then we are lowering our frequency because of the meaning we have given that word. But if we change the meaning to that word and we're using it as something else, then our frequency will not get lowered. So every word has a frequency. When we use them, we align with it, so we can either go up or down according to the words we're using. However, the words only have the meaning that we are giving it in the first place, right? So like all the words that were created in any and every language didn't have an actual meaning until we gave it that meaning, right? And as we gave them the meaning that they are, we can also change what we want it to mean so that we can speak and continue holding our frequency higher instead of lowering it when using the lower frequencies. So when you are using the words that are, criticizing or speaking about anger or jealousy or hate or sadness or any of those lower frequency words, it's because we first had the feeling in our bodies. We first had the feeling, this is how I feel, and then I find a word in my computer in whatever language I speak, and if you're bilingual, trilingual, in whatever word language you're thinking of using to convey what you wanted to say, you think about that word that we gave it so that we can communicate what we're feeling. So the word only receives that frequency because we're attaching it to our feeling. So if we're feeling jealous of something or someone, and we use the word jealous that we know the meaning of it, we're giving it the frequency of how we feel. And that is how the words receive the frequencies. So in order for you, for us, for any of us, if we choose to continue to hold our frequency higher, which is where we want to be, because as you hold your frequency, your own frequency higher, what you're doing is you're holding that light for anyone and everyone else around you. It also helps you not get ill, because in the high frequencies, disease and illness does not exist. It cannot exist. It's like saying darkness exists in the light or in the presence of light. It doesn't. It can't, right? So it's the same thing. When you raise your frequency, you are eliminating illness, sickness, all of the lower frequency feelings and words that you know, because they just simply do not exist on that higher frequency. And that is the goal. That's what you want to be doing in order to help yourself and anything and everyone in your reality. So if you're seeing wars and people fighting and people criticizing each other or saying mean things to each other, I see a lot of things on Facebook, and I just been like unfriending people without even seeing who it is. When someone says this person did blah blah blah, and this is how I treated, or this is how I overcame it, but they're really talking about all of the terrible things that they have done and what they had to do in order to delete them, get rid of them, or tell them off, or whatever it is. But here's the thing: when we tell someone else, when we repeat the story, when we're saying it even to ourselves, that someone has done us wrong and they have done XYZ, right? And you can describe it in any way that you want, that was a terrible thing, or that was a dumb thing, or whatever adjective you want to attach to it. What we're doing is judging them, judging the act, judging their thought, judging whatever it is, right? And that's okay to feel that in the moment, because you are human. You're living the human experience here. Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. All right. My nose is tickling. And what was I? Okay, yes. So you're judging. You're judging. And when you judge others and then you take action to share about your judgment on the others, and it could be your point of view, it could be a political view, it could be a religious view, it could be whatever view. It doesn't matter. Which a lot of people are fighting for, the freedom of speech, of letting everyone know that I'm able to say what I want and I'm able to share what I want and don't silence me and all of those things. And that is an inner fight. It is a fight that happens within us because we feel unheard, not being heard. We feel that it's not fair to us. We feel that we have no voice or we can't do anything. And so the first thing that comes up is the fight. I want to fight, use these fighting words. I want to tell them off. I want to tell the world about how terrible this person was or this place of business was. I want to do that because I feel helpless. I feel like I can't make a difference. And so the first thing that comes out is anger. This is just like the 5 levels of grieving, right? When you're grieving, the first thing is anger, or actually I don't even know the steps of it, but it's like anger and denial and sadness, right? And then the final one is acceptance. I know I'm missing one. Oh, hi guys! I just saw some messages here. Hi Aisha. Hi Wade. Thank you for being here. So hopefully it's making sense for you. Let me know if it's making sense, resonating, or anything. Or if it's not resonating, or if it's like completely like not what you believe, and that's also fine. Anyway, so when we are feeling like we need to tell someone else, anyone, even the audience that's out there that we don't even know who's watching us or reading our posts, and we're putting someone down and we're saying our point of view that is against something or someone, and we're giving our own solution or our own point of view as being better than, what we're doing is we're judging. We're judging the other thing or person, and we're putting ourselves up higher in the light, like I'm right, they're wrong. That was a terrible thing, and that's not what we should do. It's a judgment thing. It comes from our inner feeling of feeling hopeless and helpless. And that is part of the core wound of your inner child. That is the core wound of you not having met your needs as a child. Somewhere in your childhood, it could have even happened in the womb. This is exactly what I do in Activated, in Dream Within You, is we go through those things so that we can match that place of where was the first place that we can remember of inception, so that we can release it. That's what it is. It's like all of this anger coming up because we're all getting upgraded. We're all awakening. We're all feeling the things and seeing things and coming into our own power in different ways. But we still have that wound from when we were little. And it could have happened anywhere. Most of the time it happens before 5. And of course then it begins to repeat, because then you begin to create a pattern. So it becomes like, you repeat the pattern at 7 or at 12 or at 17, right? And you move on, and you can see this pattern even in your personal relationships or even in your jobs. You can see the same pattern of the same thing that happened for you as a child, where you felt that you couldn't voice yourself, that you couldn't speak, or that even if you spoke, that you got punished or you weren't heard or you were dismissed as that's not important enough. And then we get that anger inside, like, I know that I was right? And because I'm this child, everyone's telling me that it's not important, or that I'm not being heard, or they're just brushing me off. And that turns into this anger that we hold in our core, and that is in your solar plexus and your sacral. Those are the chakras like right underneath your chest and right below your belly button, right? So that's where we put them in most of the time. And this is why so many people are having stomach problems and reproductive problems, because those are the areas that affects most. And we're putting that energy there. So when we see something that's coming up for us, and we have the urge to speak about that and put a shadow on them and then put light on us, we're no better. We're no better than what they did to hurt us or to trigger us, because we are doing the same thing. We are at that same frequency. We have lowered our frequency to meet whatever happened to us or for us, and we're speaking about it. So we're adding adding wood to the fire. We're adding more to that energy instead of removing yourself, taking a step back and seeing it as the observer, right? I'm observing that this happened. I didn't like that email or that response or whatever that person did or said to me. I didn't like it. And I'm stepping away and I'm seeing this from that point of view and how I responded or how I felt. And I'm just observing it and I'm just letting it be. And then I'm giving thanks. I'm giving gratitude for the experience, because that's what you came here. You came here to earth to experience all the things that you cannot experience on the higher frequencies, because as I told you before, when you're living in the high frequency spaces, the 5, 6, 7Ds, there is no discord. There is no illness. There's no pain. There's no sadness. There's no jealousy. None of those. Those are all 3D frequencies and things that we wanted to learn. We wanted to experience them so that we can expand. So that's why we're here. So when you're going through like terrible things, whether it's physical pain or mental pain or hardships, it's because you chose to come here to experience that so that you can expand, right? It's like, wow, like that was amazing. It's like kind of like going on a what do you call that? On a roller coaster, and you go up the roller coaster and you may be like dying of fear right before it goes down, and then you're screaming the whole way through, and you're like so scared and you hate it and you're never going to do it again, and then you finish and you're like, oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I don't know if I'll repeat it, but that was amazing. That was a great experience. So look at it that way, because I know a lot of us are going through a lot of really difficult things, and it's really difficult to understand that we chose it, that we wanted to experience these things, that we came here to experience all of the things, and it's like, why would I experience this? This is so hard, or this hurts so much, or my life is so blah blah blah, right? And so look at it that way. Look at it as like, okay, I just went through this roller coaster, or I'm still going through the roller coaster, and it's terrible. But once you go back to the whole you, who you truly are, not in the body but your spirit, then you look back at it and you're like, oh, that was so much fun. I learned so much. I expanded so much. I know I'm making light of it because that's the way it's they're showing me to help you understand your position here and how you came here, how you came to choose this. Now, this is something that's coming up, and maybe one of you is thinking this, and this is why it's coming up. Well, if I chose to come to earth and experience all these hardships that I'm going through, then can I change that? Can I change what I'm going through? Can I change my mind? Can I have chosen to go on that roller coaster and then move to just go on the carousel instead, because this just is too much and I'm done with it? Okay, and just personally I have to tell you that this past week has been really heavy, and I was at the point that I was like, I am so tired of doing the inner work. When is this inner work going to be done? When am I going to be healed? The answer is we don't, right? We don't finish. We're always progressing. We're always getting better. We're always expanding more, but there's always more to do, because that's what we're here for. We're not here to not experience those things. Now, the difference is, as you heal, as you do the inner work, and I'm going to repeat this, inner work is some of the things I'm going to say, but not limited to what I'm going to say. It's going for walks in nature. It's grounding with your bare feet on Mother Earth. It's meditating. It's staying in a place of love and light. It's engaging into things that you really love to do. So I like to paint, and when I paint, I lose myself in it. I forget about food. I forget about my dog that needs to go out. I forget about making dinner for my child. I'm just in that space. And then it's like, poop, oops, life is back. Life is back. You need to get back to doing the things in the home, right? Like the things that make this life work. But that's part of raising your frequency. That's part of doing the things that you want to do for yourself. That is part of living the parts that are triggering and tuning into you, the higher self you, the all-knowing you, here on earth, while here on earth. So, and I'm going to repeat this because I'm going to lean more into when I paint, for example. And for you, it might be gardening, it might be running, it might be cooking, it might be painting, like or constructing something, doing some construction, right? So any of those things that you do physically, or maybe it's reading or writing, whatever lights you up when you're doing it, you can just get lost in it and you can forget about the world, whatever that is for you, right? So pinpoint that and think back. Oh yeah, I can do that for hours. I can forget about food. I can forget even I have to go to the bathroom. Like, I'm in that moment, in that place. That is you connecting to your highest frequency of love and joy while being here in the three-dimensional body. And while you engage in more of these beautiful things that you love to do, which you also do not give yourself enough time, because you're also telling yourself the story of, I don't have time for that, but I do need to make time for all the things that need to get done, right? Am I right about that? Right? We always put ourselves last. When you engage in those things that you love to do just for you, right? You're not doing it for someone else. You're doing it for you because you love it, because it makes you feel good. And it makes you feel good because you are tapping into a higher frequency of you. That's why. And you're remembering how beautiful it is to be in that space where there's nothing negative existing. Nothing negative exists when you are connecting to the one thing, or it could be a couple, but this one, usually one thing that draws you in the most, that makes you forget about everything because you're just in the present moment doing, creating, sharing, whatever it is that you love to do. Does that make sense? So as you are doing those things, you are raising your frequency, you're maintaining that high frequency, you're healing your body, your human body, and you're also attracting to you more things that will make you feel that type of euphoria, that type of amazingness, that type of love and joy and freedom. You're going to attract that to you because you're a magnet, you're all energy. So as you raise your frequency, you hold on to that energy by engaging in the things you want to do. None of those negative low frequency words are going to come into your mind at that time while you're doing that, because you're engaged in high frequency things. So only high frequency words will come into your mind and your subconscious, because you are engaging in a high frequency energy. And energy resonates with the same type of energy. I posted several months back, I posted this little video that was showing that it had the tuning forks, and it had two tuning forks, and one had like, I think it was 432 hertz, and it was just standing there, and then the other one was like, I think it was, I don't know, let's say 712 hertz, and they rang that one and nothing happened to this one, and then they took another 432 and they rang it, and then this one started vibrating, because we vibrate at the same frequency. The energy, the universe vibrates at the same energy as us. Whatever energy we vibrate at, we attune to that frequency in the universe, and then we align with that frequency of things and opportunities and experiences that are at the same frequency to come to us. This is why it's so important to take care of you by doing the things you love to do, even though you feel or you think that it's not as important, or I don't have time, yet I do need to make time to cook and clean and pay the bills and work and all the things, but the fun part of me, I don't have time for that. And what happens is that when you do that, and you're doing all the other things that you must do that are not bringing you the most joy, you are sending out that frequency to the universe to bring you more experiences and things at that other frequency, which is not your most or your highest love and joy. And so this is why you're creating your life to revolve around the same things. And people are like, I can't get away from it. I don't know what I'm doing. And what you're doing is you're not spending enough time on the high frequency, with the high frequency words, with the things that you love to do, the joyful things, the loving things. That's the thing. And here's good news. This is good news. High frequency energy is stronger, lasts longer, and it reaches further than low frequency. So if you're spending, let's say, an hour a day on your high frequency vibe, you can be doing your meditations or your visualizations. You can be doing a visual board. You can be reading stuff that you really love. You can be gardening, doing whatever it is that you love to do. You can spend an hour just immersed on that. And that energy will take over most of the day to cancel out your everyday mundane things that you're needing to go through in order to live through in the three-dimensional world. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like when you exercise, right? So let's say you go to the gym for 45 minutes to lift weights. And then so you're lifting weights for 45 minutes. And what does that do to your body? It makes your body burn fat or calories at a faster rate than when you didn't. And it lasts how long? 24 hours. It lasts one day. So when you go to exercise the next day, around the same time for 45 minutes, you have kept the whole day of your body burning calories or fat at a higher rate than if you hadn't, right? And then you maintain that level of burning calories or fat because you maintain the exercise that you're doing every day. So with energy, it's the same thing. You engage yourself on the one thing you love to do. Hi, Mijana. I just saw you're here. Sacral chakra is where our gut is. Okay, let me just finish this. And then I'll talk about that. So that's the same thing. So when you spend 1 hour, this is why, like, if you meditate every day, and you do it around the same time, then you have the higher frequency that carries you on at a higher frequency until the next day when you do it again. And then it carries you to the next day. And this is important because you will see a difference. And this has happened with every single one of my clients. And I'm telling you here what to do, right? Like, just, you have to do it if you choose to do it. And what you do is you engage in that every single day about the same time, and within a week. And sometimes, depending on how deep you have been in believing that there's no way out of your situation, sometimes it will take up to 10 days. You will notice yourself stepping out and becoming the spectator in your life, as opposed to being in the middle of the fire of whatever's going on. Instead of being a participant in this life of chaos, of fear, of lack, you become the spectator of seeing what's going on in the world without you being part of it. And then you see it from a different perspective. You begin to remove yourself from the chaos, and you get to see a different perspective, which brings you peace, which is huge. It brings you peace, where you can be calm, when you can start looking at it and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. I never noticed that before. And you didn't notice because you were in it, right? If there's a fight and people are fist fighting, there's no way that you can know or notice what's around you, the buildings around you, the nature around you, the people watching you or videotaping you. You can't pay attention to that because you're in it. You're in the fight, putting all of that wood to that fire, giving energy to that. You have no idea what else is going on. And that's what we're living our lives. And when you start doing the work every day around the same time for about an hour, then you start seeing it from outside. You can see the fight, and then you can also see the surrounding, and you can notice everything else. And then what's happening, or what's going to happen, is you're going to start to notice the good things that are happening around that fight, and you're no longer going to be focusing on the fight. You're going to start focusing on, like, oh, I never noticed that tree over there. Is it blooming? Or wow, did somebody paint a mural on that building? Has that mural always been there? It looks kind of old. Have I passed through this building every day not noticing it? You're going to start noticing those things, and those things are going to bring you joy, love. You're going to raise your frequency, and your attention will go away from the chaos, which is where we have been putting our attention. That's the message. That's the message that came through today. I hope it helped you. I hope it feels good for you. Okay, so Aisha says the sacral chakra is where our gut is. Okay, so you know when you say you have a gut feeling, where do you put your hand? Where do you put your hands for your gut? It's right above your belly button. At least that's for me, right? Like underneath my belly button, that's like my belly, right? The gut is kind of like right above it. That's actually the solar plexus. The gut is there. That's the way I feel it. I mean, you may feel it in the lower area, but the sacral space is the space below the belly button. So you have the root chakra. The root chakra is that space, the end tail of your spinal column, right? It's like right between your hip bones, right in where your reproductive organs are. That's your root chakra. And then moving right up where your belly is, below your belly button, that is your sacral. And the way I remember this is that it's like the sacred space of where like life begins. And that's for male and female, because the male also have reproductive things in that area, not just on the root. And then you move up from your belly button. So above your belly button, below your chest, that's your solar plexus, and that's your power. This is the part, and that's the that's the yellow, right? So you have the root chakra is red, the sacral is orange, and then you have the solar plexus, which is yellow, right underneath your heart chakra, which comes up on your heart, obviously, right? So let me know if that makes sense to you, but it could mean that you feel your gut lower. And if you're feeling your gut lower, that may be something more about how you receive the information, right? So there's no right or wrong on how we receive. We all receive so differently. And that's one of the things that we are always looking at someone else, like how do they receive? How do they see? How do they hear? And we are focused on them. And by focusing on them or their way of receiving stuff, then what happens is that we begin to lose the part of tuning into what am I actually feeling, what am I actually receiving, how am I actually receiving it. So some people just get it as a knowing, some people it's a feeling, some people it's like chills on the body. If you receive through your body as a feeling, that is very kinesthetic. That means that you're very in tune with your body, and if you're very in tune with your body, then you may also have a lot of body issues like gut issues or body aches, and it's because your body's speaking to you through the method that you are receiving the easiest, or it's the easiest way for you to receive the messages. You receive it in that way. So that's one of the reasons. So pay attention to what you feel. If you're eating something, and just pay attention. How do I feel while I'm eating it? How do I feel 10 minutes after? How do I feel half hour later? How do I feel an hour after I ate that thing? Right? Pay attention. Did this food, this thing that I ate, make me feel more energetic, more clear-minded, or did I feel like I just wanted to go to sleep and I just like couldn't keep my eyes open, or I was foggy, or I couldn't remember what I needed to do? Pay attention to those things, because everything is energy, and if you're eating things that are not the best for your specific body, for your specific makeup, your body will tell you, and it will tell you by making you feel not your best, making you feel less energetic instead of more energetic. So pay attention to those things. Pay attention to what you drink. Pay attention to the information that you're putting in you, right? When you're listening to something, whether it's a book, a movie, a video, whatever it is, how are you feeling? Are you feeling fearful from watching this, from listening to whatever's coming on? Or are you feeling inspired or excited, or like, yeah, I can do it, right? Like, what are you feeling? Because Everything is energy. The words are energy. The sentences have energy, and they will either bring you up or bring you down, right? I mean, you all know, you guys have all been to school, and you all know that there were teachers that you loved because they made you feel invincible. They made you feel like you could do anything. You could have been the worst kid, the worst student in that subject, but that teacher made you see yourself as your potential, and from that you were able to flourish. And then there's other teachers that just squash you down, right? And they make you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb and I can't do anything right and blah blah blah, right? I had this story from when I was a kid. My sisters had made this drawing of this car, and it was beautiful. It was the exact thing. It was like taking a picture. In my eyes, I'm a little bit younger than her, but I was like, oh my gosh, that is such an amazing drawing. I can never do that. That's what I thought or felt when I was little, and I saw her show this picture. And she had an art teacher who told her she was no good at it. And till this day, she believes she has no artistic ability. And that is so far from the truth. She was so amazing. But that one teacher squished her dreams or her spirit in that subject, right? So it's the same thing. And you are the same thing. So when you are walking around, raising your frequency, doing the things you love to do, engaging in healing yourself, in taking care of you by engaging in things that bring you love and joy, you are putting up that light for others around you, the others who see you, others who don't see you. It could be your neighbor that you never speak to. They're receiving your energy because, like I told you, the higher frequency travels further, is stronger, and it remains for a longer period of time. So as you're outside gardening, your energy is going out, and as your neighbors are walking in and out, they're receiving that high frequency thing, so you're helping, and that's how we're helping the others. Okay, any questions? Let me know. Put them in the comments. I do have my cards here, so if you have a specific question for yourself, you can also do that. But if you have a question about anything that I taught today, put them on, and I'll see if I can explain more on it. Or if you have anything that doesn't feel right, let me know. Because again, I am not excluded from what I'm telling you and teaching you. You take what resonates with you, you leave what doesn't, and everything is not for everyone, including me and what I'm saying. So you tune into you. How does this feel to you? Does it make you feel good? Does it not make you feel good, right? And then feel into what is true for you, okay? All right, so I am waiting here to see if you guys put anything. Marjana, can you explain how it works for tweens? Teens? You mean teens? I'm not sure what tweens is. If you can just expand a little on that so I know exactly what you mean. And I can pull a card on that, or I can just explain it. I am going to pull a card for the collective. We had that lunar eclipse last night, twins, it is twins. Can you explain how it works for twins? Okay, so it is twins, but what do you mean? Can you explain how it works for twins? Because, yes, twins are connected in a different, okay. All right. You can explain a little bit more about exactly what you want to know, Regina, but I'm going to go into this part. Every child that is born leaves traces of that child in the mother. So that child is with the mother for the rest of her life. There's parts of her that are connected, right, through some of the DNA that is left in the mother's physical body even after the baby is born. So they're connected. And that connection is what helps moms be so much more in tune or intuitive towards their children's needs. So I could be up here and I could all of a sudden feel like I need to check on my son, and I can go downstairs and sure enough he's crying, like he fell or something, right? It's like that intuitive hit. Or like you can be sleeping and your child is getting sick overnight and he or she is in their own room, and you just wake up and you know to go over and take care of them. That is a connection that the mother and the child have forever. twins are the same. Twins also share a part of themselves with each other. And so that is what allows them to communicate with each other, like intuitively or telepathically. You know, when they each go to a different room to get dressed, and they both come out wearing the same exact outfit that they both were thinking of. That's because they're connected telepathically. Telepathy, by the way, is coming back online. We all have the power and the ability to speak and communicate telepathically, and we have forgotten about it as like that's impossible, or that's hard to do, or that's only for some people. That is one of the upgrades that we are receiving. So prepare your body to receive this so you can able to use it, and you're going to see it more and more in things that you're saying, like with your friends, and like you're just thinking about things, and all of a sudden they're thinking the same, or they mention what you were thinking. Like that stuff, you're going to see it more and more, and that's your telepathy coming online. All right. So when you have twins, they're both also connected with each other the same way the parents are, but a little bit differently because they're the same age, and so they're doing everything together most of the time. So they have this part where they are very connected in talking to each other. So now here's the question. It says, with the negative energy affecting both of them, if one twin is more negative than the other. Okay, perfect. So yes, so they're both connected, they're both siblings, they have a lot of things in common. Yet, they are two different people. They are two different bodies, two different souls. They just came in at the same time. Even if they're like, what do you call this, Siamese twins, where they come from the same egg that splits, or identical twins that comes from the same, even from that, they become two separate ones. So it's the same thing. It's easier to see it if you're thinking of mother and child. You have a mother and a child. It's very, very easy to see that one's an adult, one's a baby, yet they're still connected. They have that whole connection that the twins have as well. When one is more negative than the other, or one is more positive than the other, is the better way of saying it. And I see this all the time. That's because one of them feels more disconnected from who they truly are, their divine selves, God. Everyone is born from pure infinite love. Everyone, you, me, all of us are infinitely loved and supported. All of us, at all times. When we choose to do things that are hurtful to others, or to go into the negative space of playing the victim, because that's what it is, we become the victim and then we become angry at everything and everyone else, it's because we don't feel that connection of love of our higher self. And that is our own soul's choice of wanting to experience this so that we can expand. So even though they're twins or triplets or identical twins or fraternal twins, they're still two different ones. It's not the same soul split into two. So the question is, if one twin is more negative than the other, how does that negative energy affect both of them? It affects both of them because the one who's less negative is more empathetic, and it wants to help the one who is feeling more disconnected to come back and to feel more loved. And here's the thing, and this is the same with everyone. And anybody, it doesn't matter if they're a sibling or a twin or a parent or a stranger or a client or a co-worker or a friend or an acquaintance. It doesn't matter who it is. We are each here in our own path. We are not here to help the other come over here by telling them what to do and teaching them and trying to blah, blah, blah. We can help them, especially if we love them, because they are twins or whomever it is, by being more of us and showing our light and letting them choose to come into the light. So imagine yourself as a light, a beautiful light, and you enter this cave, this dark cave, but there's no light, right? So imagine one twin, the more positive one, is the light. And the cave, the dark cave that has no light, is the negative twin, right? The light can choose to go into the cave, and the cave can choose to remain there and receive some of that light and maybe even go outside into the bigger light. Or it can choose to go deeper into some passage into another cave that is deeper in where it's still dark. And then the light can choose to follow it and go there and illuminate that space and say, hey, come look, this light, you can see the walls. And then the darkness can say, yeah, let me just go deeper into the cave and find a darker space. So we cannot make anyone come into the light. We can just be the light and wait for them to come join us because they see how much fun we're having, so to speak. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like the sun. And I've said this before. The sun comes out and it's free for everyone on the planet. Anyone who wants to go out in the sun and get sunlight can. It's free. It's right there. All you have to do is exit. Yet, there are people in this world right now who are terrified of the sunlight because it has the damaging UV ray light, UV light that can damage your skin. It can create cancer. I need to not be there. I'm not going to go out between 10 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Those are the worst rays, and that's the thought. That's the belief, and that is true for them. So if they did go out at that time because they hold that belief, that probably will happen because that's what they're bringing in. So they may choose to stay indoors and do things inside, even though the sun is out there the whole time. And anyone else who's like, oh my gosh, look at the beautiful day, I want to go out into the sun. They are going to the sun not because the sun is coming into the home to illuminate them, but because the sun is out there shining its beautiful glory and saying, hey, I'm having so much fun here. Anyone care to join me? And then people go out and join the sun, the light, and others choose not to. It is not our job to make the ones who don't want to come out. Even though we might love them and we might be like, oh, come on, this is so much better than where you are. That's judging, right? We're judging. I'm better than you are. I'm at the light and you're not. Allow each being, each person, each soul to go through what they want to go through in this life, what experience they want to experience, and learn and grow on their own. Does that make sense? Let me see comments here. Can the positive twin affect the other through energy? Absolutely. Same with the negative one. You just explained what I was saying in the question. Oh, okay. Amazing. Great. Okay. Yes. So that's how it is. When it's in the family and one person, one twin, as you're asking here, is aware or enlightened or knows more about things or is doing the inner work and it just sees the world differently, sees it from the outside, not being in the fight, right? Like seeing it from outside and then being able to see that there's so much more than just this fight, right? When we're there and you are at the beginning of your own healing or of realizing this, we always want to go and help everybody else. And I went through that too. I went through that part of like, come on, I can do this. I can help you heal. I can help you, blah, blah, blah. It's not well received. I'm telling you from personal experience and from anyone else that I have worked with that has gone through the same things. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because they're not ready, right? The teacher will show up when the student is ready. You can be the teacher and you can know all the things and you can watch this person that you love in your life and you really want the best for them, but you cannot make them come to you until they want to come to you, until they start asking, until they start wanting to hang out more with you, right? And then here's the other thing. You do not help them or anyone by lowering your frequency to their level. So being the light and going in the dark cave you don't help them. If they don't want the light, they're going to keep going into deeper and deeper paths in that cave so that they can remain in the darkness. That's their choice. You can follow them all the way in. They're never going to accept the light. They're just going to keep on trying to go until they get completely annoyed with you and kick you out, because that's their room, that's their cave, that's their space. And what are you doing here? And then the fight's going to come there. You're going to feel rejected. Why wouldn't they take me? Why wouldn't they take my light? It's because they're not ready. So it's nothing personal for you. It's nothing that you can't do it. Oh, if I was powerful enough, or if I had healed enough, if I knew enough, I could heal them. No, because understand that you're not the healer. And I always say this about me, I am not the healer. I only help people see what they have and heal themselves, right? I'm able to take the energy and show it to them and put it in front after they have decided that that's what they want. This is why it's clients that come to me. I'm not saying, hey, Mijana, want to work with me? I can help you. That's the light going into the cave, right? It's the darkness coming out and say, hi, can I hang out with you a little bit? And they go slow. They'll go at their own pace until they're like, yeah, show me what you're talking about. Wow, this is amazing. I didn't know this was available, right? And it may seem to you like they may know that it's available, but they don't. If they're not in it with you, it's because they really are not ready to accept that. And it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your abilities, with your power, with what you're able to say, speak, teach, whatever. It has nothing to do with that, and it's all about them. Does that make sense? So remember, the most good that you can do is healing yourself. That's it. By healing yourself and bringing love and peace to you, then you shine brighter, longer, further, and then your light begins to touch others. And let me tell you, the light wins. Just to put it in plain ways. So many of us light workers are doing the work that is becoming really uncomfortable and really impossible to deny the light. It's becoming just really difficult to, everywhere you turn, you see the light. Everywhere you turn, you see people talking about this stuff, right? Where like 10 years ago, this was not like this, right? It was more difficult to find things on the internet or anywhere else, or books, right? But now it's like every 2 seconds you're seeing somebody new speaking or more people talking. Can't believe the amount of new people that are showing up in my feeds that are doing this work, and a lot of them are not grounded or healed yet. And I'm listening to it and I'm like, yeah, and I turn it off, or I say I'm not interested in this one, because I can tell. And how can I tell? It's because when I start listening to or hearing whatever they're saying, it comes from a place of fear. Like if you see any video saying, this is all going to end, everyone needs to prepare, major catastrophes are coming in this year, all of those things, it is fear. And why is it fearful? Because the person speaking is speaking from their own trauma that's still within them, that they haven't yet released, even seen, or even know that they have. So they're speaking about, let's say, their near-death experience and what they saw the world would be or could be, but it's coming from their wounded part. And so it's not uplifting. It's not giving you hope. It's not inspiring you. It's not helping you be better. It's making you contract and feel scared and feel like, what? Right? So that's how you can tell. And so when I see that, I'm like, okay, not seeing that. Now I have a frog in my throat. Does fever and physical illness also add the detoxification of body? Yes. Like, how do you manage when you feel a bit sick? Like fever, allow it to go through. Cough, etc. Okay, yeah. All illness is energy, is stuck energy that is manifesting in your body to bring attention to what you haven't been paying attention to. All of it. all of it. This is why they are spontaneous healing. I just listened to this lady. She was doing a podcast. She had stage 4 cancer. Her organs were shutting down. She was 88 pounds or 84, something like really low, in the hospital bed, in a coma, not a doctor-induced coma, a regular coma, because her body was shutting down. She was given hours to live. Hours, right? Call the family. Tell them, this is like, that's it. She's not coming back. There's nothing we can do. She goes through her near-death experience, and she finds the part like, your life here on earth is not done. Go back if you want to. She comes back, and her body starts to heal within 3 weeks. There was no evidence of cancer in her body. Nothing that the doctors did, nothing. Spontaneous healing. Why? Because when she went to the other side, in her near-death experience, she saw and felt that she was whole, that she was loved, love beyond anything that you can experience here on earth. She felt it. She remembered it. And when she remembered that, that's all you need. That's the spontaneous healings. That's the miracles that Jesus did. That's that part of like, I feel completely loved and seen, and it's like this. So yes, when we have physical illness, fevers, that is energy moving through us. When I did get sick, I think it was January this year, I was like, okay, I'm upgrading, and there was a lot of upgrades coming up, and a lot of that also feels like sickness. Why? Because in order for us to receive the higher frequencies that are being downloaded onto our bodies, we must first remove the parts of us that are no longer helping us, right? So if you have an old belief of, oh, I can't speak my truth, or when I speak, no one hears me, and you're going to start coughing. You're going to get a cough. You're going to cough it out. That's the part that you're going to be like, okay, clearing this out. Now I can receive the new coding, and I'm putting this in very simple terms. I mean, it may not be exactly like this, but this is how I'm seeing it to explain it to you. So that you can receive the coding of like, I actually feel good about myself. I actually feel like I can speak to my truth. And now it's not going to deter me. Now I'm going to just do it. And there might be people who are still against this, or who don't believe this, or who are trying to push me down. But now I'm seeing this from being the spectator. I'm not in it, so it doesn't stop me as it did before. I'm not in the fight. Does that make sense? Detoxification of body. Yep. Now, I usually let the fever go through me, because it's one of the best ways of releasing all the things instead of delaying it by taking some type of medicine. I'm not saying to not take medicine if that's what you do, but that's what I do. Unless like I'm like sometimes if I'm like really like done and I'm like, okay, I can't take it anymore, then I will succumb to taking some type of medicine that makes me feel better. But usually I like to allow my body to heal itself by resting, sleeping, and drinking water or tea. So those are the things that I do. I just let my body do that and run energy through me, if I'm awake enough to do that. Aisha says, wow, it's like shedding the old in order to receive the new. Yes, it's exactly that. It's not like that. It's exactly that. We are shedding the old in order to receive the new and feel light and be light. You are becoming lighter. So yeah, pay attention to what you're eating, pay attention to what you're doing, pay attention to how you feel when you're engaging in different things. Like yesterday, I was doing some spring cleaning on my yard. It's a very dirty yard. Lots of old leaves that I was pulling out, and I felt great. It was amazing. And I was outside, right? I usually like to be outside doing yard work barefoot, but I was not doing it this time because there were a lot of sticks and twigs and things like that, and I was like, I don't know how dirty this is. So yeah, but at least I was outside. So amazing. This is the type of stuff that you want to pay attention in your own life and see what feels better. Remember, you are all energy. You receive everything through your feeling, and then you give it thought, and you start giving it meaning through the words. So going back to the beginning, right? You're giving the meaning to the words. Oh, this is the one thing I wanted to say. Selma Hayek has this little clip that it's like a short, where she says, if you don't speak Spanish and I curse you out in Spanish, you don't get offended. And you don't, because you have no idea what I'm saying to you. And I can curse you out with a smile on my face because I know you have no idea what I'm saying, and you're not going to know that I'm telling you off. Right? And you're like, yeah. And then you might feel like, what is she saying? And you're going to have this uneasy feeling, even though she might be smiling, even though you don't understand what she's saying. Why do you have this uneasy feeling? It's because you're receiving the energy that she's giving through the words that she's speaking, that she gave meaning to. Does that make sense? We're all energy. This is why you walk into a room and you know immediately, oh, there has been an argument or a fight here, maybe I should leave. Or maybe bad news, and the energy feels heavy or like quiet. I'm like, okay, let me just get out of here, right? You ever had that? That happened to me at work many times. I will go into a room and they will be talking like quietly, and then like, hey, stop. They look at you like, okay, did I interrupt something? Let me get out of here, right? Or as a child, your parents, right? You walk in, you feel the anger in your parent. You're like, this is not the best time to be or ask for anything from my parents. Let me get out of here and let the time move on so that they can cool off, right? You know this. You know this since you were a child. You know this. You feel it. We're all energy. Before words are spoken, we're all energy. And that's also part of how we're going to be communicating with the telepathic new codes that are coming in for everyone. All right. So I've been doing this for an hour. So I'm going to pull one card for the collective. And I'll try to come in tomorrow to do cards for you guys, individual. But I'm kind of out of time for that. So I am going to just pull a card for everyone. What do we need to know for our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us? Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Amazing. Isn't that a great card? Okay, so this is perfect. It goes well aligned with the lesson that I was giving today. The lesson. Teacher in me. Well, that is what it was. I was teaching. All right. When we are doing the inner work ourselves, and we are working on shining our highest frequency possible for as long as we can, every single day, right? We are shining that new light onto others. And while you are shining your new light, there is no room for doubts, for all patterns of I'm not good enough, I can't speak, I won't be heard. None of that happens while you're at this higher frequency of you being the light. Being the light. You're being the light. And as you're being the light, you're shining the light, but you're being the light. You're being the high frequency of who you truly are. That's how you help everyone. Okay? And as you're doing that, you are shedding and releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives, because you are creating a new pattern in the now. You're creating a new belief in the now. You are creating, what's the other one? A contract. You are breaking the contracts. You're creating new contracts in the now. As you know, there are no past lives, as it says here, past lives. Everything is happening right now. Your past is happening right now. Your future is happening right now. This is how people can shift times, go from one timeline to the other. It's because it's happening right now. When you heal your past, I've done many past ancestor healings in session with my clients. You're healing what was happening now. You know, you ever seen those movies where they have the time traveler and they're like, oh, you can't change anything in the past because then you change everything in the future. And that can distort everything in the future, and you can't do that, right? You can't do that. if this person doesn't get together with this other person, then you may never be born, right? But it's happening right now. And one of the reasons that when we do ancestral healing, which is happening right now, it's just the belief in this incarnation that it happened before, is that you're switching things, you're changing the outcome of the feeling to break the pattern, and then you're right here and the pattern no longer exists. You break it. So when you do your healing here, you can see, quote unquote, your whole past life, ancestors, everything, applauding you and being released from the karma or from the patterns that they went through because you stopped it. And if you're here now doing this work, doing your inner work, you are the one who's breaking the patterns of all your past lives and creating new. It's you. Every single one of my clients, every single one, I am not exaggerating, it has come up on their Akashic records. Oh, you are the one meant to break the pattern, your ancestor pattern. You are the one to stop this. If you've had, let's say, alcoholism in your family, right? There's always been one or more people in your family line that was an alcoholic. You're the one here stopping that pattern. You may have siblings who are repeating that pattern and bringing it into the now for you. You are the one healing that by healing yourself. And then you'll see that sibling stopping you. Like, how did that happen? It happened because you healed yourself and you healed everything back. That's you. That's what you're here. That's what you're doing the work, because you're being that light and you're changing things. I don't know if that actually is making complete sense to you, because even as I'm saying, I'm like, I have so many questions, and it may be your questions that I'm feeling into, but I don't have a specific one. So let me know if it doesn't make sense or if you need more clarity on something, because when you ask, then I can get more clarity on what I'm not saying that you need to hear. Does that make sense? Okay, so yeah, it was a beautiful card. I'm glad you liked it. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. I will post this on my YouTube channel. Share with anyone that you feel that might need it or benefit from this. Share to because when you share the video on my YouTube channel, then more people can find it, like it, leave a comment for me, something on that. I love coming here and doing this for you in this group, but when you go over there, then you can also subscribe, share it, comment, whatever it is, to help the channel grow. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.